I spent about 7 hours hiking in and fishing Jones. I had great plans of fishing a stream that had been very, very good for me in bygone years or in the past. I guess I really enjoyed the trip, but it was sort of disappointing. This is the first hole I fished. Caught 2 fish out of it. But both of them were like a 2-inch pointy head, creek minnow. And that's a pretty good sign that there's no trout in the stream, because when this was one of the best trout streams in Georgia, I never saw a minnow. That's because my buddy Richard, he caught a 14-inch brown that had a 7-inch rainbow sticking out. The tail of the rainbow was sticking out of the fish's mouth, and he was still trying to feed. So they pretty well cleaned the little minnows out of the stream. You just don't find them in a trout stream. We have, well, back in 1972, I guess, is when I started fishing, y'all. It was a whole different stream back then. It was really managed well. You had to sign in at the check-in station and couldn't fish but like 3 days a week or something like that. It's artificial lure only, and nothing really but native brown. I think possibly they had closed it for a few years or something, but it was really, really good back then. I'll show you some pictures and everything else. I had 3 reels with me, or 2 spinning reels, and 2 fly reels and rods, and 1 spinning reel. And they all have telescoping rods on them, and that was so I could put them in the backpack. I had one fly rod rigged with a dry fly, and another one rigged with a nymph, so it takes forever for me to change the fly on the go. And I had a spinning reel that my plan was to start fishing the top water and maybe go to nymph and then to a spinner, to see if any of the 3 made any difference. You need some trout to test your theory or something like that. But you can see me putting the reels up and taking them apart. It worked out pretty well here as far as the reels go. Here is the 3 different rods that I took with me for the trip. I carry 2 of them in a backpack and 1 of them in my hand usually. That's the nymph I was fishing with, an fake redworm with a little weight on it. The dry fly is the one I'm putting in the bag right now. I don't know if you can see it or not in this one, but every hole you threw in, you'd have about 10 minnows following you out, which was very, very discouraging.
HQ.
Go ahead, Pete, and 4KHQ and 4KHO.
Just checking in. I'll catch you later.
Roger, roger, infiltrate.
It's a beautiful stream. There's lots of good holes in it that used to hold a lot of beautiful brown trout. Back in 1974, my dad really enjoyed fish, and I even would clean some every once in a while, and we was keeping fish and mostly giving them to my dad. Back around a little bit later, about 10 years later, I got to the point that I was totally catch and release for trout. These are just some fish that I caught several years back, 1974. This one was 1988, and that's about the last good fish I caught out of Browns. I got started bird hunting and training bird dogs and stuff. And we were releasing all our fish then, but by that time. But Dolores was with me, and she encouraged me to have it mounted, and there was a big fish contest that the sporting goods store was having, so I kept that one and entered it in the contest and had it mounted. Just wading up the stream here. I was really getting discouraged as far as catching any trout. I don't believe there's any trout left in the stream at this particular elevation, this particular section of the stream. You just don't have trout, and if they slap full of them, it's a little cold. I don't know if it's the lack of management, if it's global warming, or it's certainly not fishing pressure now, because there's no fishing pressure to amount to anything. That's because there's no fish. This is the hole that I caught the 24-inch brown out of back 1988. The hole looked better back then. It's still a pretty good hole, especially after I get up above the log up there. I probably wouldn't be making this video if there's any fish left. You know how trout fishing are. But things change, and so do trout. When I caught the fish, it was dingy from rain a little bit. What I really believe those big browns would do is lay back up under the bank. They wouldn't be feeding, and all kind of people would fish for them and not catch them. But when the rain came, they'd come out and go to the upper end of the hole, and they would feed on crayfish. And the spinner right here that I've taken off is a Mark Panther. Number 6 is what I caught the 24-inch trout on. And there's no telling how many 16-inch trout I caught back in the 70s and 80s in this stream before I pretty much quit fishing and started bird hunting, training bird dogs. And I don't know how long it took for it to go out. This is a knot needle. It's one of the handiest things I've found. You use it, you clip it onto the end of your line, and I'm tying an Orbis knot right here, and it just makes it so much easier to tie than to try to push that little fine fishing line through the hole and stuff. There's all kind of videos show you how to tie the knot. I'm not trying to do that. And all you got to do is Google knot needle. I think you'll, if you tie on flies especially, or tie on anything, I think you'll really enjoy it. And look up that Orbis knot too, because it's a very strong knot for what they say. Very easy to tie. This is another item that I just won't go without in 90-degree weather like I did one time this year. Finally got some water from a very small stream. I knew it was risky, but it didn't kill me. I guess it was better than getting totally dehydrated. It's called a life straw. You can Google it, and you blow the water out of it to clean it when you get through, and just clamp the two ends on it. You need to take you a cup when you're as old as I am, because it ain't no fun trying to get down low enough to suck it up out of the stream. And a cup's a good place to put it back and keep your bag dry too. The rest is just some pretty holes I'm going to show you here. No fish. Maybe another horny head, and maybe another crank one, but no fish. Yeah, call it another creek, you know. This is a beautiful hole. All you see is a bunch of little minnows running out. After hiking in and started fishing at the lower point, and I guess about halfway back up or so, I just got out. Even getting out and walking now, it took me 7 hours to hike in, fish a while, and hike out. I guess I fished about 3 hours, 3 or 4 hours. Didn't really time.
M4KHO, M4KHQ.
4KHO, go ahead.
Well, I'm calling because I need to stop and rest, I reckon.
Roger, roger.
Let me check and see where I'm at.
Back up the creek like we used to walk in.
Yeah, I think so. Did we go and walk down and fish back up?
Did.
Well, that's what I'm doing.
Well, you still fishing as you come back?
No, I quit. Too slow. I'd be all day getting out of here if I was still fishing.
Roger.
Walking's not that great, though. It's pretty growed up.
boy, things change, don't they?
N4AHQ repeater.
I'm going to have to drink me another half gallon of water here pretty quick. Thanks for being there. I'll collar at you shortly. M4KHQ.
Alrighty, I'm listening. Okay,
The last thing is OnX Hunt. It's a wonderful app, and what's so good about it is you can mark the course you want to take, the creek and stuff on your computer at home, and it will show you where you're at, locating with GPS. And you know, if you want to do a 1.5 mile fishing trip, it will show you how much progress you're making getting back to the truck, all that other kind of stuff. This is a map you see from the computer, where you can set it all up on your computer, and then it'll automatically be on your iPhone because it's on the web. And something that's wonderful about this is I didn't have cell coverage anywhere on Jones Creek, but you can download the maps to your iPhone, and it works just like you had cell tower data or Wi-Fi data as far as working and stuff. And this is just showing how rough a lot of the hike was. I'd say about 40% of the hike was like this. It really shows that the fishing pressure is totally gone from Jones.